Hello everyone, I am MP Rajan. Today our topic is in this class we will learn about define safety, explain the importance of safety in solar plant installation and state the classification of safety. Now let us define the safety. Safety is the condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk or injury. Now let us discuss the importance of safety in our solar plant installation. The safety in solar plant protects the workers from electrical hazard, fall, injury from heavy equipment, etc. The proper safety protocols reduces the risk of electrocution, especially when we are working on high voltage system. Fall protection measures are very essential for those workers who are working on the solar panel which is on rooftop or in an elevated structure. The compliance with local and international safety standards will protect the workers as well as the equipment. Safety measures reduce the risk of fire hazards due to the faulty grounding and cabling, etc. It minimizes the damage to the expensive solar equipment as well as it will increase the long-term system efficiency. Next we will discuss about the classification of safety. Based on the nature of accidents, we can classify the safety like structural and mechanical safety, electrical safety, fire safety and the occupational health and safety. Now let us learn about what is structural and mechanical safety and what are the components of the structural and mechanical safety. Now, what is structural and mechanical safety? The structural and mechanical safety focuses on the physical stability, durability and the safe operational condition of the solar plant mounting structures and other mechanical components. It is crucial to prevent accidents, equipment failures, damage, especially in the outdoor environments which is exposed to various weather conditions. Now let us see what are the components of structural and mechanical safety. Number one is the array stability. It is ensuring the panel mounts are durable and anchored to withstand the wind, snow, seismic forces with regular inspection for the corrosion or other alignment issues. Second one is fall protection. For rooftop installation, the workers may fall from the height due to slip, especially in the raining season. The workers should wear body harness, lanyards, anchors during installation and maintenance. Third one is heavy lifting. Lifting of heavy equipment are the most common task in a solar plant installation. But unfortunately, proper lifting procedure is not followed. The back injury caused due to the improper handling of equipment will last long. It will not heal quickly. Safe lifting technique and equipment are necessary for handling heavy components. The fourth one is weather resistance. The structure should be designed in such a way that it should resist the variations in temperature and wind to maintain the stability in any weather conditions. Now let us discuss about the electrical safety. Now what is electrical safety? The electrical safety in a solar plant installation is very much essential to protect the personnel equipment from the potential hazards associated with the high voltage system which is an integral part of solar power plant. Now let us discuss about the components of the electrical safety. The number one is protection from electrical shock. The solar panel generates DC current at high voltage. This will pose risk of electric shock during installation, maintenance and operation in the solar plants. Next is safe working practice. The worker should follow strict protocol while working in live electrical system. They should wear rubber gloves. They should use only the insulated tools. They should keep a safe distance from the high voltage line. Next is arc flash prevention. The arc flash occurs when the current flows through the air between the conductors which will cause the explosion with a temperature and pressure wave. Next is the grounding and bonding system. The proper grounding of solar arrays, inverters, transformers and other electrical equipment prevents the unwanted current flows and reduce the risk of electrical shock, protecting the equipment and the personnel. The bonding connects all conducting components to a common ground. This will ensure the same electrical potential everywhere. It reduces the damage due to the electrical fault and also prevents the shock hazards. Next is DC specific hazards. The solar panel generate DC power supply. This is more dangerous than AC power system. So in the solar power system we have DC disconnect, which is just like an isolator. So this will isolate the DC power supply system during maintenance and in case of any emergency shutdown is required. Next is overcurrent protection and circuit breakers. To protect against the overcurrent, the solar circuit is equipped with circuit breakers and fuses. This will prevent the electrical fire, overheating and damage of electrical components. Next is surge protection and lightning protection. The solar plants are equipped with surge protecting device which shields the sensitive components like inverter, transformers, etc. from the voltage spike due to the lightning or any grid disturbances. Next is the proper wiring and cable management. Since the solar plant is exposed to the outdoor condition, all the cables must be ultraviolet resistant and weatherproof to avoid the degradation over time. Next is labeling and warning signs. All the electrical components like inverters, circuit breakers, cables must be labeled so that the worker can get the correct information about the circuit. Electrical hazards should be marked by warning signs like high voltage, DC disconnect, etc. Next we will discuss the fire safety. What is fire safety? What are the different types of fires and the fire extinguishers? What is fire safety? Fire safety in a solar plant is critical due to the presence of high voltage equipment, in some cases energy storage system. The fire has three components which is often referred to as fire triangle. The number one is fuel. Any combustion materials like wood, gasoline, gas like propane are called the fuel. Number two is the oxygen. Oxygen is a part of gas which is essential for combustion. Minimum 16% of oxygen is required to sustain the fire. Third one is heat. Heat is the energy which is required to increase the temperature to its igniting point. By removing any one of these components, we can extinguish the fire. That is the principle behind of extinguishing the fire. Fire can be classified by the type of fuels involved. The number one is class A fire. The fire which involves solid materials like wood, cloth, paper, etc. Water, foam and dry chemical fire extinguishers are used to extinguish the class A fire. Next is class B fire. The fire fueled by flammable liquid and gases like gas, petrol, diesel, etc. are called class B fire. Foam, CO2 and dry chemical powder extinguishers are used for the liquid fire and the dry chemical powder extinguisher is used for the gas fire. Next is class C fire. The fire involving the electrical equipment is called class C fire. CO2 and dry chemical powder extinguishers are used to extinguish the class C electrical fire. Next is class D fire. The fire involves with combustible metals like magnesium, aluminum are called class D fire, and dry chemical powder extinguishers are used to extinguish the class D metal fire. Next is class K fire. The fire involving the cooking oil which occurs normally in the kitchen. Foam and CO2 fire extinguishers are used to extinguish the class K type of fires. What is occupational health and safety? The occupational health and safety refers to the policies, procedures, and practices designed to protect the health and welfare of the employees, visitors, and other stakeholders who are there on the work area. Its goal is to prevent the accidents, injuries, and illness resulting from the work related activities. Next is implementation of safety measures. The first one is engineering controls. The physical modifications like installing safety guards on the machines, ventilation system to control the airborne containment, and ergonomic equipment minimizes the hazard exposure. Next is administrative controls. The policies and practices like shift system to avoid the repetitive strain or exposure to the hazardous materials help reduce the risk. Next is personal protective equipment. Providing proper personal protective equipment like helmet, gloves, safety goggles, as respiratory system shields the employee from direct contact with hazard. Next is signs and labeling. The proper signs and labeling give warning to the employees about the potential dangers like high voltage, chemical hazards, and emergency exit, etc. Next we will talk about the personal protective equipments. In that number one is the personal helmets. Every person who is working in the solar plant should wear hard hat or the helmet to prevent the injuries from falling off tools and other materials, especially when he is working near the crane or any other lifting equipment. Safety glasses and goggles. The worker should wear safety glasses or goggles while drilling, cutting, and handling the equipment which produce the particles in the airborne. Next is hearing protection. The earband or the ear defender should be worn by the worker, especially when he is working near a loud machines. Next is gloves. The purpose of wearing gloves is to protect the hands from burns, injuries, electric shock, abrasions, cuts, etc. There are different types of gloves. The one is electrical resistant gloves. This is used to safeguard our hands while working on high voltage cables and panels to protect from the electrical shock. Next is cut resistant gloves. This is used while handling mounts, panels, and other sharp edged materials to prevent the cuts. Next is thermal gloves, which will protect our hands from hot surface or during the installation of solar plants on warm or sunny days where the surface can be extremely hot. Next is safety footwear. The worker should wear the steel-toed or composite-toed footwear with slip-resistant sole in order to prevent the feet getting injury due to the heavy machines or while walking on a slippery or uneven grounds. Next is high visibility clothing. The reflective vest or the high visibility jackets will help the workers to see each other while they are working in a large installation or in the low light condition. Next is fall protection equipments. This prevents the injuries due to the fall from the height, which is a very common hazard in the solar plant installation. There are different types of fall protection equipment. One is harness. The harness are attached to the lifeline or anchor in order to arrest the fall in case of slip happening during the solar plant installation. Next is lanyards and anchor points. These are used in conjunction with the harness in order to prevent the fall from the height when they are working on a rooftop or an elevated structure or in the slopy ground. Fall protection equipment is mandatory for rooftop installation or any work above work ground level. Next is respiratory protection. Respirators or the dust masks are to be worn in a situations where airborne particles are generated like drilling in the concrete or working in a dusty environment. Now let us discuss about the rescue operation on a person who is under the electrical shock. Do not touch the person who is under electrical contact directly. Otherwise, The current will flow through them to you, which will cause another electrocution. Switch off the power source by flipping the circuit breakers, removing the appliance plugs, or switching off the main power. If you cannot switch off the main power supply, use a non-conductive materials like rubber gloves, plastic chairs to push the person away from the electrical source. Next is call emergency service. Call the emergency medical service immediately. Describe them about the location, the situations, brief them about the cause and the severity of the incident. Check the responsiveness and breathing. Once the person is no longer in electrical contact and we are safe to approach, check he is responsive by shaking him or by calling his name. Check for breathing by looking at their chest. If they are not responsive, begin the CPR if you are trained. Next is performing the CPR. If you are trained, do the chest compression and rescue breathe as per the CPR guidelines, or continue the chest compression until the emergency service arrives. Next is treatment of burns and injuries. Electrical burns occurs where the current is entered or exited the body. If the burns are visible, cover with dry cloth. Do not apply any ointment or directly touch the wounds. Next is monitor and comfort the person. If the person under shock regains the consciousness and start breathing, then keep him calm till the help arrives. Stay with them, give the assurance and monitor the conditions. Remember that the electrocution can cause internal injury, nerve damage or cardiac arrest. Take them to the medical professional even if he is found okay. In this lesson we learned what is safety and how it is important while working on a solar plant, and what are the classifications of safety and their components. I hope you all understood the topics very well. Thanks for watching.